Greetings, comrades. I am Comrade Admiral Andre. Yes, I added now a comrade in front of my own name too, but don't worry, I won't do that too often. But you know, using the comrades thing, it's actually, in one way, I think it's a good thing because it shows we're all comrades, no matter who we are. I can be Admiral Andre, but I'm still Comrade Admiral Andre, and so you are all comrades as well. But anyway, that aside, I think today I lost my mind, comrades. That's why I've used up almost all of my coffee. I just have a little bit left. Or maybe I haven't had enough. But anyway, I've added so many more mods, and I'm going off the rocker now completely. Because I told you before, this mod thing is just like an economic cycle in the world economy. You have your upswing, the economy grows, there's interest in mods, and then it peaks, and then it collapses into a recession, and then I hate mods, and I never want to see them again. And it goes back and forth for all time. So anyway, the mods that I added today, I will obviously update that in the description as I always do, but two of the main ones are the Kerbal inventory system and the Kerbal attachment system. I want to see if there's anything here. It looks like there might be. That's the inventory system for dummies and the wrench. I have used this mod before. I was thinking, once we build stuff, what if we want to add something to it or take something away, or you know, it gives us some options. And the attachment system also gives us options to actually link fuel pipes between vehicles so we can refuel on other planets, for example. Those are actually quite essential, I think. So we don't have to use all their features. But I'll pay the $900,000 for the manual and the wrench. What a rip-off, right? But that's how the subcontractor business works. Then there is a Ghetto Blaster. Why on earth do I have a Ghetto Blaster? Okay, equipable item. A tape recorder with a cassette. Now, what does this do? Okay, they just carry it with them. I don't know if I want to pay $150,000 for a Ghetto Blaster design. I don't know. Let me know, what does this do actually? Does it raise some of the Kerbals' morale or not? Anyway, then that's too funny. Other things that I have now are the portable container, the inline container as well. Not sure, we can put parts in there as well, plus the mount. So I'll pay the $9 million for that. Then there's the advanced construction. This is probably some more yes, like a ground base. I don't know how to use that. I've never done that before. Joint socket is important for cables. That's one of the main reasons why I want this. So yes, $42 million, we'll pay that. Yikes. Now of course if I ever uninstall this mod I won't get that money back, but that's alright, because I've gone ahead and added more mods, and these mods are all about the contracts. And I think I've gone crazy here, because we can see this is I searched so long to get this mod that actually reorganizes your contracts. And now I've forgotten the name, but it will be in the description below. But it also offers you various contract packs like Tourism Plus. So it's asking us to kick off space tourism. Now of course this ignores all the missions we've done before, but we haven't done that much, so it's okay. But you know, bring them to a base. Things that we don't normally get. Build a space hotel and a space casino. We can do things like that in the future. Then I added also the Anomaly Surveyor. That's another pack of missions. These are all very outdated. They're not even for KSP 1.7, but maybe they work. If they don't, we'll quickly discover and I can remove them again. CommNet Relays was another pack. This will ask us to build relay satellites, which I think is quite useful, and then we get paid for that anyway. Field exploration, historical progression was another one I added. I was not sure about this because this one is more for a real solar system overall. So it will offer things like the Apollo program, Skylab, and things like this. I'm not convinced about this, but we don't have to go down this road. So now it's obviously asking us to do our first sounding rocket above 50,000 meters. Now, maybe I'll do that just to see what happens, what they ask for the V2 rocket and so on. I don't know. There's Mir again. We've done Mir before, so I don't really want to go down that road again. But I wonder what would they ask us to do. Interesting. Well, like for example, there is the Gemini missions as well, which we've done some of already with our new craft. Anyway, so that's one pack that I'm not too sure about, but we can just test it, and if it doesn't go well, we can remove it easily. Kerbal Academy is another one that I like. This is all about training Kerbals in new skills. So they're not offering us anything right now, but maybe that will be interesting. Part testing is the usual stuff. Science retrieval contract, this we had already, the green sandstone. Satellites, we had this one already as well. This is green is accepted, so the stationary orbiter of Minmus, but this is further down the line. There's also 2 now for equatorial orbits of the moon. Maybe. There's Scansat official missions. They're offering us 3, so low resolution only at the moment. Maybe this is also a good thing to do. I'll accept this one, because this is why I installed Scansat anyway. So they're asking us to do a simple scan of Kerbal, low resolution altimetry scan. And we get signs for that as well, I think. Surveys, I think this is the usual. Tourism Plus, as I said, we're not going to do that now. And unmanned missions, I think was another pack, like crash a probe on a planet. We've done this already, but anyway, like there's a ghillie flyby. Orbit a probe and return it safely home. At a specified target. Good grief, it's a bit overwhelming. There's another mod that I installed that was recommended by this contract overhaul mod, and that is about targets. So it works better for waypoints. Good grief, it's a little overwhelming. I'm not too sure about all of this. But I thought it was interesting to at least consider, you know. Field research, biome study of the tundra, of the shores. These are things that we should be doing anyway. Good grief, where do we begin now? Okay, what do we have already? Let's first look at that. Let's do the low resolution Scansat of Kerbal. Now I also want to see if there is a satellite. No, that's unmanned missions. Orbit a probe and return it safely home. I don't want to return the Scansat probe safely home. CommNet relays. Anomaly, no. Surveyor. I saw something somewhere. We can take this one as well. That's the Peenemünde rocketry in North Germany where they did the first rocket tests. But, you know, since we're launching this thing now for Scansat, we can do that and complete it anyway. Why not? Part testing. I still have to finish the heat shield thing. Surveys. Observational surveys of Kerbal. No, I don't want to do that now. Anyway, we'll just do that for now, comrades. So let's just leave it there before I get totally crazy. So anyway, the mods there, I can easily remove them again. Luckily, it's not a big deal. And then we just go back to the old contracts. Hopefully it will return as normal because we still see the previous contracts there. Just want to see here as well, we're still doing the fundraising campaign, 25% of our reputation, so that's alright. Right, what next? Let's build, comrades, but first coffee, please. Still have a quarter of my mug left. Right, we also need science, need more parts. Anyway, first of all, of course, a probe core. Now, what does this thing look like that we have to attach to this? That's the radar altimetry sensor. That should be quite small, so I think this shouldn't be a problem. Now, how on earth are we going to make this look interesting? Should we try the usual again? Possibly something like this. That's too much. This one, we'll take this. This is the usual adapter. And we do get the option here to add some color to that. Just want to offset this so the probe is protected inside from radiation, etc., etc. And then we just attach this on the top. Now, again, the old trick, duplicate that. And then back to one-time symmetry. Now, let's just test what this will look like. Like I said, I'm not too familiar with the whole Scansat business, but this seems to be working quite well. And wouldn't that be something that we wanted to do anyway, get more detailed maps of Kerbal and its biomes? I think so, it can be interesting. Okay, now, what's the next step? Battery power, that's always important. Question is, how much do we need to transmit that back? Should we do 4? Okay, we can do 4 batteries. There is still room in there. Right, so that fills up this structural aspect here. I think let's put that orange coat of paint on there. Then solar panels, we can do the same, but we still need to decide what to do here now. Yes, I think it's fine. We can just attach it like this. Right. So at least we have coverage from all sides. Now, at last, I think we need a basic antenna. This doesn't have to be too fancy, and that's it. That's basically all this probe requires. Let's make it just double, of course, so it's in symmetry, but we don't need more than that. Okay, now, maybe I'll turn this, just because that will be quite difficult to fit into the fairings. Actually, undo that. Turn the snapping on. And then move this with the snapping off again. Right, so there's our basic probe, comrades. It weighs a whopping 230 kilograms. So I think we can even make use of our very old friend, the Spire rocket, to launch this. We certainly don't need a massive rocket that's quite wasteful for this. So I think let's just grab the sub-assembly, the Spire. Was that one, or should we go for the 1A? I think the 1A is even enough. We don't even need a fairing on this, really. Now I see also this doesn't have the parachutes. Good grief. I really do need to update all the rocket designs in my sub-assemblies. That includes, of course, the new modifications we made yesterday to the Paragon. But anyway, now I just also have to get familiar with all of these new buttons here. Right, that'll do. So at least we get the first stage back. This is only a 2-stage rocket that will go to orbit, so put that there. And as usual, I forgot to make the change, but this time it's easy, so it doesn't open immediately. Then we'll fire that, and should we even separate? That's the question. Probably not. Although we can, but let's turn it to almost nothing. But then we still need to get rid of this space debris as well. Yeah, space debris is a real problem, comrades. I think actually no. Let's give this thing its own power. But now again we have the problem of where do we put all of this stuff. Actually, I'll take this, take all of the fuel out. Make it fit the theme. Just put 2 of these tanks inside there because it's empty. And then give us 1 or maybe 2. Let's make it 2. Basic monopropellant engines, and they will only work for fore and aft and by throttle. And that's it. So now it really has its own stage, more like it should be. Shouldn't use the upper rocket stage for that. Right, check everything. I think it's working. So now it's time for a name. Now this should be the Proxima something. I need to just check this. Proximo 7, cancel. And today's mission will be named after Comrade Ahaki. Comrade Ahaki, this is your mission. Let's hope it goes well. It should. This is quite a simple scanning mission. Right, I don't think there's anything else we'll need. We'll also hopefully complete that first sounding rocket mission, even though this is not what it really is, but we should anyway get paid for that because we did do that in the past. Right, let's just launch this from the desert again. Let's see how this goes. Save that. And desert. And of course polar orbit, but now I actually should have done something because I'm not familiar with the altitude requirements. What is this? Oh, this must be one of the new Waypoint things. Oh, Waypoint Manager. Okay, interesting. Can leave that on for now, but this is not going to say how much altitude it requires. I'm just going to revert back to the VAB and drink more coffee, of course. Right, so 500 kilometers max, field of view 5 degrees, that's fine. So any low orbit will do really, but of course the higher the better because you get more coverage with a 5-degree field of view. At least I think that's how it is. The further away you are, the more the 5 degrees will matter. So let's go for like a 300 kilometer orbit if we can manage that. But anyway, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition, and we return to our old rocket here, which is a nice thing, I think. Just because it's not obsolete yet. I think dawn is also coming now. Right, turn off all of the SAS, we don't need it. We still use our fins here. And then we just launch north over the desert. Right, comrades, I'll see you closer to orbit if all goes well. Well, I decided to go for 400 kilometers. Why not? Keep it out of range of any low Kerbal orbit operations. Just bring it down. Right, 400. Perfect. Extend our antennas. We are now already in space, and hopefully these antennas will not interfere with the scanning. But we'll find out, right? There's our waypoints. I like this. Now we can see the waypoints not just on the map or the nav ball, but on the actual screen as well. So this is a useful mod. Never used it before. Create custom waypoints, etc., etc. Ah, it even tells you the distance as well and the time. Interesting. Right, I'll play around more with this. I wonder if we can turn them off as well. There, just so we don't see them all the time. Right, well, interesting. Okay, now we still have 186 meters per second left, so we might as well use that. And then use the monoprop built-in engines after that's finished. I love KSP. I really do. Right. Only a gentle burn here. And we're finished. Right, there it goes. Goodbye, comrade. And now RCS throttle up. We're not exactly polar perfectly, but I can change that. Almost. Surprisingly effective, these little nozzles. Okay, just slightly over. Just turn around again. And just get us as close to a circular orbit as possible. For no apparent reason, but there we go. Why not, you know? There we are. 400 by 400. Comrades, we're getting good at this. Right, contract complete. We did our first sounding rocket in air quotes. Delete that. And a hockey debris was removed from Proxima recovered. Oh, of course, it's the stage recovery. I was just like, what is this? Anyway. Right, now, what's the next thing? I think we just have to start scanning now, so don't think you have to point to the ground, but certainly that would help. And deploy the scanner. Yes, it goes between the antennas, as long as this thing doesn't start spinning now. And do we see it anywhere? This is interesting. Ah, I guess it's that little patch there. And then we can analyze the data for some scientific benefit. Let's try this. Some of you will of course know a lot more about this mod than I do. No, nothing is happening there. Is it not being updated? There we are. So we have mapped the pole. Is there no auto refresh? Well, stuff I have to learn, right? Anyway, so now it's doing that. Let's stay with this just for a little while, just to follow it on its trajectory here and see what happens. Of course, now it would be orientating itself to the surface the whole time. And we just come around again. Drop out, refresh, and we now have mapped the South Pole as well, or at least the extreme southern latitudes. This is so interesting. Now what can I do with this exactly? Resource overlays, I suppose. I don't know if a radar altimetry will give us resource info. We can zoom. Oh, this is interesting. I really should be figuring this stuff out on my own, but... So yes, obviously it's a very low resolution right here. Just some random pixels there. Planetary overlay, biomaps, instrument readouts, latitude, longitude, no data on the ore, that's right. Settings... Background settings, warp resolution, good grief. Give me some advice, comrades. If you know more about this, you can certainly advise me just on the essentials. I'll speed up time a little, then I'll get back to you, comrades. I just want to do some more mapping and see what kind of science data we get out of it. Right, comrades, at least this little window here gives good information as we go. So, as far as I understand, it will continue mapping even though we're not with the active craft. But let me try doing this analysis now. Analyze the data. That gives us 4 science. You know, it's something. Now, of course, we haven't covered the whole planet yet, so maybe I shouldn't do this yet. But alright, let's go home, comrades. This satellite, Ahaki, will continue to do its thing in the background, which is fantastic. So also, please, if you know more about contract packs that would be nice for our campaign, please let me know. The upper stage was destroyed, but it was not worth a lot. Right, let's see what is also going on here. Now they want us to build the V2 rocket. I can just accept this because we're anyway going to be doing at some point another mission. Why not? If you now really did the historical progression with real solar system overhaul and realistic parts and realistic engines and all of that, that stuff is beyond me, I have to say. I tried doing that once, but it's too tedious for me. But then this must really be interesting. But anyway, it can still be interesting, so they can pay us for various bases and space stations. Okay, no Academy stuff. The satellites in the equatorial orbit of the moon would be very interesting. And of course the actual Scansats of the moon as well. Let's accept that one for now. The Scansat of the moon. Got it. Now, unmanned missions, land a probe on Minmus, land a probe on the moon. We're not going to do that yet, but this is a good thing for later. Field research, biome studies, materials, rare science results from the northern ice shelf. How do you get rare data? Anyway, CommNet relays. Place a relay satellite around the moon. At least 5,000 kilometers, 5 megameters. I assume that's what the M here is. We can do that. Anomaly Surveyor, and then possibly even the other 2 satellites that want to go to the moon. So we launch 4 satellites at once. I don't know if we can handle that. That might be beyond our current capabilities, but we can try, right? Position a satellite in an equatorial orbit of the moon. This is for scan the Scientific Committee on Advanced Navigation. They just want a thermometer on here. That's easy enough. We can do like an octo CubeSat. These guys, Probodobodine, they want a materials bay and a mystery goo. This is a slightly bigger satellite, but we can still try that. Right, comrades, our plate is full now. Let's go to the next day. See, I like this idea because it gives us really interesting missions to do. Assuming, of course, it doesn't flop halfway through and then all our contracts get cancelled, but politics are sometimes like that, especially politicians. Anyway, let's see what we can do. Now, for the first objective here, thank you Proximo 7 Ahaki, we'll say new. Now, I also want to load our previous craft. That was the Ochko, which apparently means something in Russian. I'm not going to inquire too deeply into what that is. Now I need to override this. I think I already did that with the 1B. Let's just make sure. No, I did not. You can see the engines here are still the ones that get stuck. What about the 1A? Ah, no, not this thing. Paragon. Is that the same? Doesn't look the same. No, so again I'll have to override this. Good grief. I'll have to do this off camera just to save some time. Right, so we are going to use the same lower stage here that we have been using for a while, so I'll put that to one side. Then I will also load up the old Spire 1, not Spire, Paragon 1B with the upper stage that I'm interested in. But the lower stage I won't use because the thing will get stuck and blow off the main engine again. So in this case, now things are getting really complicated. I want that paired with that. Okay, this is now not going to be the actual craft. I'm just putting stuff together here. I don't need that fairing now, so I can just use that. And there's the craft. Right, delete that, throw it away. Now I'm just going to check my staging here, which is all messed up. Right, now we can overwrite the old one. Now this was what again? Good grief, keep forgetting. 3 point something tons. That's right, 3.4 to low Kerbal orbit. Now I can save this over the old Paragon 1B. Just because now we don't have to worry about the lower stage getting stuck. Right, so that's done now. We're definitely going to be using this rocket, our more powerful 1B, just because we now need to get to the moon with 4 satellites. I don't know if we can, but anyway. So this is almost again like the Centaur upper stage. I want to see if we get a name for this. I think this will be an Enigma. That's what I'll call it, Enigma. So we'll just have to remember that. I'm going to put it in its own sub-assembly just like the actual Centaur would be. So take that. And from now on we just have the heritage here, Enigma A. We'll just try it, or should it be 1A? No, because the rocket as a self, we don't want to make things too complicated. I'll just say upper stage for Paragon 1B. Then in the future we'll have an Enigma B and an Enigma C, just like a Centaur that gets more advanced over time. Centaur D and etc, etc. Right, so now we get to the actual building. So I'm going to put this beautiful thing aside here. An absolute beauty, as that comes actually from the Mozart movie where what's his name, Salieri, was saying, oh, he saw the music was an absolute beauty. But anyway, right, I think we can even reuse a lot of this stuff. So I think this upper stage, upper rocket satellite is a good foundation. Now the first contract that we have is to put a temperature scanner on this. So let's just make sure what's in here. That's the mystery goo. We throw that out. Right, so we want a thermometer. It doesn't matter where it's placed, it's so light it doesn't change the mass distribution really. I'll put it on the side in there. Of course, we'll imagine there's openings on the side that expose the thermometer to the vacuum so it can monitor the temperature of the whole craft. But anyway, so that's the one satellite. Thank goodness. Hey, easier done than said. That's right. Okay, first one finished. We'll just build on our historical heritage again. Just put this on an absolute minimal force. Then we'll reuse this as well. We might have to do 2 launches, I think. It's going to be too much for 4 satellites. A lot more space debris. Right, the other one wanted a materials bay. Plus what? Plus a mystery goo. The antenna should be enough because they are rated for, we use the inbuilt ones, for DSN2 it's 158,000 kilometers. That's more than enough. So we just have to add a mystery goo to that thing. And where would this be now? I might have to add 2 just to keep it balanced. Because this is a bit heavier than a thermometer. That's 5 kilos. The other one is 500 grams. Right. Can I put it inside that thing? Maybe I can. 2 of them. I know the client didn't pay for 2 of them, but they're getting 2 of them. It's a redundant system, right? Yes, right there inside the bus of the satellite. Okay, so that's done, and it of course has its own little maneuvering engine as well. And then we will use also the... Now what would this be? This is like the Agena of Atlas. This would be from the Paragon 1A. Together this weighs 7 tons. We know that the Paragon 1B can do 3.4 tons to LKO, but it can probably do more, but we might have to do some strap-on boosters for this. Now the first stage here should be able to take us to the moon. Oh, easily, and possibly complete orbital insertion as well. So maybe this would be enough then. Right, so we also want a name for this, like the Agena, just because I like those stages. Right, if that other one was the Enigma, I think this one will be the Aurora, just because, for some unknown reason. So I'll save that thing as the Aurora A. Right, then in the future we can develop that further. Okay, now we have to strap all of this together. Now this will be our heaviest rocket that we've ever launched before, so this is not going to be an insignificant prospect. Whoops. Okay, so that thing has... Oh dear, alright. That space probe there is actually attached to this and not to that. Huh. Okay, let me just change that slightly. We don't want one as big as that. That will be fine. You can put the shroud on, you don't have to. Then the shell for some reason, and then this will be embedded in there. I think that will work. Plus, of course, hibernate in warp, which it already does. So we can get rid of this stage to help offset our crazy space debris manufacturing process. But you know, just have a look at some of the maps that show you how much space debris there is around Earth. Then you understand why. So we are definitely not going to get away from some space debris. Right, this one I want auto-strutted to the heaviest part down the bottom. We'll auto-strut this to the root just so it has a nice connection there. Now check everything. Check it and check it again. Now we don't have to separate this, but I guess we can. Plus that one. Then we'll ignite this one. I will deploy the fairings from the top manually. Then we'll handle the rest. Alright, so this will be... Do we have a name for a moon satellite? We do. What was it called again? Lumina, I think. Let me just have my paper again. Yes, Lumina. So this would be Lumina 2 and 3. We're advancing quickly. We did our very first lunar orbiter, and now we're doing commercial missions around the moon already. Right, so the mission itself will be called Murilo Moreira. There we are, Comrade Murilo Moreira. Interesting name there. Spanish, Portuguese, Spanish probably. Murilo Moreira. Could be Portuguese as well. But there you are, comrade. This is your mission, and this will be an important one for us. Okay, I don't think there's anything more to do, so we will see if this rocket can handle this mission. We'll launch from the launch pad and hope for the best, right? Last of my cold coffee. Isn't that wonderful? But you know, I can always make more. So, let's launch this thing, comrades. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Barely inches off the pad there, but this is still fine. I think we're not even going to separate that lower stage before the fuel runs out. We'll see. An impressive rocket right there. This is a very good commercial mission for us. I can't wait for KSP2. There are some other games I'm also looking out for. I'll show you those in Steam after this mission is done. Right, turn and very gently. Just keep on the 90. Since we know this is equatorial satellites for the moon. Right, see you up in space, comrades, if we make it. No, comrades, this is too much of a dubious proposition. We don't have enough power here. I'm gonna revert. Yes, I think we need to get our very first strap-on boosters for this. This rocket is not powerful enough. So, actually I could put the thrust limiters much higher on those engines. But we'll still run out of fuel very quickly. Let's see what we can do. Find some creative solutions to this. What if I put two side... We do have the fuel pipes now, so this should work. Say cross feed absolutely. And just strap on some fuel tanks, not engines. What does that give us? 118. Oof, that's a bit too little, eh? That's too little. I think that's not gonna work. Then we just drop these off instead of adding more things. But you know, solid boosters are cheap, so just make use of them. Should we put it on the sides like this? No, that's gonna look a bit strange. Right, so the most powerful ones we have are the thumpers. And that's not, is it? No, it seems to be attached correctly. Just put it a little closer. It looks like it's too far away, you know. There we go. And then I want the nose cone A with a parachute attached on each of them, because I want this stuff back. We can reuse these boosters. Right. So the first ignition is right there with this stuff, of course. It all fires together, and then that fires together with that. And then of course I need to attach my launch clamps again and auto strut those. Right, save again, overwrite, and let's try again, comrades. It's all we can do. I think the clamps are actually on the wrong stage now. I want to get paid. I want to get that money. Right. 3, 2, 1. It almost looks like a Titan 3, you know, one of the early ones with the solid boosters. Anyway, 2, 1, ignition. That's more like it, much healthier. We can throttle down the liquid fuel just to save a little. Now we're going. Right, see you in space, comrades. Good grief, comrades. That was a clawing out of the atmosphere. That was quite difficult. Luckily, of course, the solid fueled boosters did help, but it was still a struggle. So we are at the absolute limit of our capabilities right now. Anyway, we can just insert ourselves into an orbit here and just do an evaluation of the situation. Should be fine. I think we have more than enough fuel. But effectively we had to use both a Centaur and an Agena upper stage together in order to complete this mission. So poor Atlas, right? But that's why it had to get extra boosters. And as long as there's enough to send us on a happy trajectory to the moon, then we're okay. There's no accidents, only happy mistakes, right? Is that how it goes? I think so. Right, we're in orbit, comrades. Success. F5 immediately. Right, plan the rest of this thing. So we're going to the moon, of course, and we need to go rather equatorially. So as you can see, it's almost like a ring system. So I think we'll go for a very high approach over the moon, just so we can break off the 2 satellites there. Now, where shall we approach? You see, like this, it just has to be a high approach over the moon. That's fine, there we go, that's it, that's all I want. But now I just want to make sure, is it nice and flat? It should be, but we can make very small tweaks closer to the target. Right, comrades, this part is another for speeding up. I will speak to you again when we are approaching our destination at the moon. Okay, welcome to the moon, comrades. You know, I didn't even check to see if they were both going in the right orientation, but luckily they both are. That would have been a complication, but it's quite easy to change your direction around the moon. Right, burn right here, just place us into an escape trajectory. Good grief, other way. So this is Probodobodine. Now of course I'll have to go back to consult who is who again. Now we're on the right path. Still have 200 meters, that should be enough to get us into an orbit. And go on. Right, we're in an orbit. Stop right there. Or there. 7 meters per second. So this is space debris, but it's very, very high over the moon, so it should be perfectly alright to release this now. So I'll do that. Decouple. So now our 2 payloads are here with independent capabilities. So I'll also release this one, decouple that, so that decoupler can stay in high orbit around the moon. And then this one, now see, I have to go back to our space center to find out who is who, because it's not obvious. Right, back to the active missions. Relay Sat Equatorial. Okay, now we know Probodobodine is there, so they want the extra stuff. So the mystery goo and the materials bay. The scan is the one that just wants the thermometer. Alright, back to our satellites. So scan just wants thermometer. Just have to remember that. Alright, so the scan one is the one on the end. Right here, this is the scan one. So I'll call this, ironically enough, Scansat, even though it's not a Scansat in terms of doing scanning. Thank you, Comrade Murillo Moreira. So this is Scansat 1, and we'll call this one after Matt Lown, of course. We've done myself and Scott Manley, so now it's Matt Lown. Right, Comrade Lown, you are up here in, well, you'll be the closer one actually to the moon, I think, yes. Then the other one, if we just switch back to the middle one, not the actual thing there, this, just have to rename this. So this is Probodobodine Sat 1. Can't tell you how many times I had to practice that name, comrade. Probodobodine Sat 1. And this one will be called, who's another YouTuber? Shadow Zone. Shadow Zone in KSP. Right, save that shadow zone. So also give me the names of KSP YouTubers, because we'll obviously be launching many satellites over the course of this career, so we can make use of all the different names, and then maybe you, if you didn't know about one, you can find out about them as well. So it's a good opportunity for that. Right, so I'll activate, wait, first before we do anything, F5, and I just love how delicately they're all separating here. That's how you do it. Now unfortunately this stage only has 7 meters left. I know it has a probe, but I can't deorbit that now. Right, so you are Scansat, right? So we need to bring you down. So a very gentle burn right now. Just to push everything now. Of course they're going to collide. But gentle. Gentle, right. Just to bring us down. Descending node is 1, that's fine. Don't have to worry about that. That looks decent right there. So I'll time warp to our periapsis. Uh-oh. Communications loss. I should have done the relay set first. Eesh! Well, I think we'll get communications back in just a moment. Then we can make corrections. There we are, back again. Not too much of a struggle. Right, so I'll say in about a minute there. Actually, the closer the better now. Bring this, whoops, not that far. There we go, that's a nice one. So in 31 seconds we can burn 91 meters per second. Now in this case I think we should bring down the thrust limiter. It's completely crazy for a light craft like this. 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. And so there we are, on our way. What a view, hey comrades? So at least Matt Lowndes' satellite will have a nice view here for the rest of eternity. Is this close enough for our requirements? It does look like it, so we're gonna get that money. Or something like it, anyway. Right, there's the money. So separate that thing again. Gently, because we turned that down. So right there is the satellite now for the rest of time. Matt Lowndes, so this is the Scansat 1, our first commercial payload for the Scientific Committee on Advanced Navigation. Right, that's them done. Now we go to Shadow Zone, so switch to Probodobodine, and then put that into its orbit. This is a really nice mission. I like this. Glad we got this contract. And oh yes, don't forget it's doing the weird thing again. It's backwards. Control from here. Wasn't making sense there. Right. There's some Murillo. I want to say Murillo. You know, J. Maybe it is Murillo Moreira. Good grief. I have to practice that name. Murillo Moreira. Murillo Moreira. I'm not sure. Guide me, comrades. Right, let's bring this down to its desired orbit. That'll do, and we will have communications at that time. And we could even fix the 1 degree, but it's really not necessary. Right, retrograde again, and what kind of fuel do we have on this satellite? Do we have an engine on here? Yes, so maybe I'll use that to complete the final stage of the burn. Oh, for flip's sake. It's so powerful I didn't even notice we went past it. But you know, then separate that. Get rid of it. Activate this, please. S'il vous plaît. Actuation toggles by throttle. There we go. I do want that, so I don't have to keep babysitting the thing. And that was more or less where it needed to be, and we'll get that money. I make money moves, right? Don't look too closely into that. I make money moves. That's right. And right, I don't think we need to do anything else here. So, Comrade Shadow Zone, your satellite gets an equally fantastic view here. And may it reign long and prosperous. Let's just go through our various things. Stages were destroyed. Moreira, debris. The first stage was recovered. The second one as well, or otherwise around. There's the big one. Another one destroyed. That I don't know what that one was. Success, the V2 rocket and the German scientists working on it became the foundation. It's like a lesson. It's not really saying there's German scientists. It became the foundation. So it's just a history lesson there. But we get money for nothing. Who can ever argue against that, right? So then we did get the simple survey. That was our low-res scan around Kerbal, so that was completed. Position the satellite and position the satellite. So how much money do we have? Hey, I make money moves. I have $2 billion in our space program now. That's how it should be, right? Anyway, before I embarrass myself too much. See you tomorrow, comrades. Have a fantastic day. May your space endeavors flourish. But actually, hold on before we do that. I still want to show you my wish list, some of the games that I'm interested in that are upcoming and are kind of related to KSP. So obviously KSP 2, yay, big number one, that's a very important one. But I also saw this one, Soviet Space Engineers, don't play the video now. This should be interesting, also 2020. Pioneer of spaceflight. As an engineer in the Soviet space program, you'll be responsible for repairing, fixing and building the iconic spacecraft and rockets from the R7 family. So it looks really interesting. I was, just browsing around on Steam when I found this, so that looks very interesting. Then another one that I'm interested in, there's a Moon Village. That should also, if you look at the graphics, that looks fantastic. Moon Village Simulator simulates the first manned base on the Silver Globe, planned by the real space agencies. Be the builder of the new cosmic cape, the first in human history. We'll see. I don't know much about this other than what we see here, but that's one of the ones I'm watching. Another one, Earth X. This was already out in early access, but I'm just keeping an eye on it for now. Have you always dreamt of becoming CEO of the largest rocket company in the world? It's like SpaceX, a SpaceX simulator. That's also very interesting. Then Space Takeover is another one I'm excited about for the future. That actually, it's like the space race again. You can see here, for example, Dombarovsky Air Base, Norilsk, and launching various things. That should be interesting. Don't know too much about it, but that's one bit of information. KSP2, Space Company Simulator. I'm mildly curious about this, and I'll tell you why. It looks great. I mean, it's a space company simulator, literally as the name says. So you build things and you launch them and you upgrade your space center and stuff like that. But it's made by Intermarm, which is not really in highest esteem at the moment, and I'll show you why. If you go to what games they made before, they made probably one of the worst rated games on Steam, Race to Mars, and that only has 6% positive reviews. And the reason is, you see, it's kind of similar. You build a space agency and so on, but it's pretty much, it's abandoned. They did it in early access and then they just abandoned it, and there are some people calling it vaporware, which is interesting, which is probably what it is. You can see all the negative things. So they abandoned this project in favor of Space Company Simulator. We'll see. I'll keep an eye on it, but I'm not getting involved until I know it's actually going to deliver. But anyway, it looks interesting. Another one that's like KSP that I'm keeping my eyes on is this one here. How do you like it, Elon Musk? So this is basically a SpaceX kind of simulator, but in Russia, which is super interesting. Build your cosmodrome, construct a rocket and send it to Mars, trying to withstand difficult economic conditions, bureaucracy and corruption in Russia. It sounds like South Africa. But, you know, that looks interesting. It's a different kind of perspective. And if we look at this little screen here, it almost looks like the kind of XCOM style, building your base. I'm not sure if that's how it will turn out, but it kind of looks like it there. And then launching your rockets and doing research and things. Really interesting. Some other ones, Deliver Us the Moon. That's more well known, I think. This is just a list. Sometimes I just add it onto my wish list to keep an eye on it, like Gunsmith and stuff like that. Per Aspera looks possibly interesting. It's on Mars, but it's a narrative-driven strategy game, so it's not really a space agency simulator kind of thing like KSP. Just want to see, is there another one? Mars Horizon, of course, is a big one as well. Some people have done like a sneak peek of this during its free alpha weekend recently. Unfortunately, I wasn't quick enough for that. But yes, it's also you basically do the thing. You build your space agency, you launch your rockets, have to do missions, things like that. Mars Horizon. So I'm sharing this with you if you're also interested in stuff like this. We can check these out in the future when they are released. Right now none of them are out except EarthX, so you can check that one out already, EarthX. Right, comrades, see you next time. I've babbled enough. Have a fantastic day.